what's up, everybody? This is Cody, aka DFS Prodigy, coming to you live once again with Hotman DFS. We're excited to talk about the PGA Valspar Championship breakdown. We're going to kind of go over like a quick, heavy-hitting video. So, what our plan is going to be basically is breaking down each range, but giving y'all like one to two guys in each range that we like. Especially because if this is basically kind of like a core video, we don't want to go over every single player just because of the time variables. But I'm pretty excited about the Valspar Championship. Like you said, the pricing is definitely good for what DraftKings did this week. But anyways, how's it going, my man?
It's going good. I'm ready for another weekend. It was kind of weird watching the team event last week. I thought it was pretty fun to watch for the most part, since it was close to, what were your thoughts on the Zurich from last week?
Yeah, I was pretty pumped about it. I think it was pretty funny that how both like all the guys basically just correlated with each other. It was nice to see. I didn't expect Justin Rose and Stinson to come out like that at all, but it is what it is. The Aussies win it. I mean, we were both high on the Aussies. We knew they were in contention to win. So, but anyways, Valspar Championship.
For sure.
Starting with this course, 156 players, par 71. This is a very hard course that we've seen in the past. So what are your thoughts on this course?
Yeah, you're right. I think it is going to be a little tougher. I'm thinking around a minus 10-ish. It will be the winner. I could be wrong on that, of course. You never know with weather and that kind of stuff. But I do think it's going to be a little bit tougher. Field of 156, top 65 make the cut as always. We're on Bermuda greens this time. Some really important stats that I think are going to be crucial this weekend will be shots gained around the green and then shots gained approach. Just being able to scramble and kind of, save par on multiple holes is going to be really important. So bogey avoidance is going to be a big one too. So like you said, I do think it's going to be a little bit tougher of a course compared to some of the normal courses we're seeing. Just looking at that 10K range, we were talking about how much the pricing this week is we think the pricing's pretty well, in my opinion. Looking at that 10K plus range, who do you like out of that, that group of guys there?
So for me in this 10K to 11K range, I rather on the 11Ks go to a guy like Justin Thomas. I trust him way more than I do with Dustin Johnson. Just recent form wise with Justin Johnson, it's been iffy to me and kind of concerning. But we know how Justin Thomas is. The recent form's there. The course history is there for him. I mean, he's literally the highest price guy, and he well deserves it for this course. You're going to have to figure out some values in order to pay up for Justin Thomas, which I think you can. But then again, this course is very difficult, so that's the variable that you need to include also. But for me, it's Justin Thomas. I want to say Paul Casey, but as many times as I've been burned by him, it's kind of a biased situation with me and Paul Casey. It's risky. That's all I'm going to say. It's risky, but the course history, it fits him certainly well. He's one of the best players to play here, and he can pull it off with ease. And then another guy that I'm kind of looking at maybe a little bit is Patrick Reed, but then again, I want Paul Casey more so than Patrick Reed. Hovland, I'm not really getting to him. What are your thoughts on this range, my man, or who you really like?
I really agree with you on a lot of what you said there. Paul Casey is the back-to-back winner here. He won in 2019. We didn't have it last year due to COVID, of course, but he also won it in 2018. So like you said, he's got the course history. He's just not really been there since those two wins. And at 10K, I just think that's a really hefty price for someone who's been really up and down recently. If you're going to spend at least 10K or more on a guy, this guy needs to be at least top 5 contention, if not winning it. So, that's why I'm going to go to Justin Thomas with you. I think he's been playing well. He was playing well at the Masters, but he kind of had a mini blow up on that Saturday after the rain delay. So, I think he's been playing well. I think his game really fits well for this tough course. And, like I said, if you're going to be paying up for a guy in this range, you got to be making sure that they're, playing well and at least going to give you a chance to win. So, DJ hasn't really been there. Hovland, I think, is just a little bit overpriced. I think he will do well here and will go overlooked. But I'm with you on Patrick Reed, though. I think his game fits really well around here. He's a good putter. I think he's going to be in contention when it comes to Sunday. So how do you feel about the next range down there?
In the 9K range, for me, we have Hatton who is out because of COVID reasons. So that ownership now is going to either fluctuate up to a guy like Corey Connors, or it's going to fluctuate down to another guy that I like and Sungjae Im. Those are the two guys I'm looking at. Is the Corey Connors? I think in cash, similar to Paul Casey, it's got to be Connors. Connors, he's going to be popular. The form's there. He can just do so well here, and the ball striking adds up for him here. At 9.6, I know it's a hefty price tag, but then again, we see Paul Casey's price tag at 10,000. So for me, it's Corey Connors. Scotty Scheffler, another guy that I just don't like playing. I don't trust him at any of these courses, especially at a hard course. It's just the name. I don't trust it. That's pretty much just my biased opinion. And then Sungjae Im. I think M can definitely pull it off here. He's not a bad option at all in this range whatsoever. I trust him more than I trust Usteen, to say the least. What do you think of this range in the 9Ks?
Yeah, man, people are going to think that we talked before this and we agreed on all these players, but I really do agree with you on what you said. I really like Sungjae this week. He's a great golfer on Florida courses. Also been starting to put his irons together a little bit. He was fourth here in 2019 as well, and that was his debut. So, you know, everything there is the formula for success, in my opinion. I think Sungjae is probably my favorite player for GPPs in this range. As far as cash games go, I think Corey Connors has got to be the safest lock. He's been playing so well, and again, just this kind of course fits towards his game. You know, a ball striker who's got a decent, you know, around the green game as well. So, you know, Corey Connors is going to be my cash lock. He will be in my cash core tonight as well. And yeah, Scotty Scheffler, you know, I think he's going to be overlooked here. He's a little, you know, expensive, but I think he'll be a solid play this weekend. Great GPP play. He's been playing well, and I think he's got the short game as well to compete here. So look to see him on Sunday as well.
Agreed. So then dropping down to the 8K range. So I know this is a scary pick to say the least, but Bubba Watson at 8-9. That course history is there. The recent form is looking good for him, to say the least, for Bubba. So for me, I don't mind going to him. And then Charlie Hoffman, he's just been basically literally one of the best players that he can possibly be. We saw him last week at the Zurich. He was carrying Nick Watney literally on his back, like we were mentioning. I mean, Hoffman was trying to do it all, and he still looked good, to say the least. So I'm on Hoffman at 8.5. You can go certainly to a Ryan Palmer. We know how he's been recently. And then last but not least, another guy that I keep hitting every single week is Max Homa at 8.1. I just cannot get away from him at this price tag at 8.1. I love him here. I think he definitely sets up well here also. What do you think of this range in the high 8Ks before we go down lower?
Yeah, I think this is a juicy range. It's really hard fading, guys. When I was making my player pool, I mean, I think you could honestly make a case for just about everybody in this range. So I can't really argue against anybody here. My favorite plays are Kokrak. He's got some good course form here, and he's been playing pretty well as well. Charlie Hoffman, like you said, he's going to my cash for tonight too. Ryan Palmer's a good play. Yeah, I think really everyone that you said in this range, I really don't think you can get away from any of these guys. I think they're solid plays.
Yeah, this is where you're really gonna need to build your lineups at. This is basically what's gonna make or break you this week, I think, for this course, is the guys like a Hoffman, Kokrak, Chingali. I mean, we know how Chingali's been playing. Even Max, like you said, Max Homa, Justin Rose, we saw him finally kind of rise up last week. Do you trust him? I mean, it's hard, but he can definitely get it done. Yeah.
I was thinking about that because we faded him, I mean, 2 or 3 weeks now, and he us every single time. So I was thinking about that today. I think I'm going to fade him one more week, and, you know, if he burns me this one last time, I'll just have to kind of eat it.
That's the thing. Is this AK range, though? I think this AK range allows you to get a guy like Justin Thomas or a guy like Paul Casey or Corey Connors. So in my opinion, this is where the meat and potatoes are. But dropping down to the 7K range, what do you like in this 7K range?
Yeah, so this is a little bit different. I think there's a big gap between the 7K guys and the 8K. And that's obvious with salary, of course, but it's a little bit tougher to just, you know, pick and choose in this range. Sam Burns is at the top. I think he will be all right. He's a good putter. I think he'll be a solid play over the weekend. Not my favorite, though. My favorite 2 plays are going to be Denny McCarthy and Lanto Griffin. They're just two of my favorite DFS plays in general. But, you know, Denny's a great putter. I think his his irons and his approach games have actually been improving over the last couple of tournaments. So, you know, at I think he's 4K or 7.5K. I think he's a great play. And then, you know, Lanto Griffin, anytime he's, you know, 7.5K or below, he's usually in my lineup. He's a pretty good, you know, just around the green game as well. And I think he could get up there in contention on Sunday. So, those are two of my favorite plays. Peter Uihlein as well. I think you got some comments on him. We played him a little bit last week. I think he'd be a solid play as well. He's been doing well on the Corn Ferry Tour, and yeah, he was in Zurich last weekend as well. So what are your thoughts on this 7K range?
Yeah, they added Lonto Griffin into this field, and I think this is amazing price tag for him at 7.4. I think they just pretty much mispriced him. That's the one concern that I have. But I'm taking it full advantage wise, and I'm playing him at 7.4. I think he sets up well here, and I think that Adam Hadwin sets up pretty well here also. I don't mind going to him at 7.6. You can go look to a guy like Doug Gim, who literally went off last week. I mean, 7.3 for Doug Gim, who's been on fire. We know how recent form has been for him. These are the type of guys that allow you to get those Corey Connors, Paul Casey's, Justin Thomas. I say it time and time again, but you need a couple guys down here in order to fill in the rest of your lineup. And I don't mind taking a shot on them whatsoever. I think that they're trustworthy enough to make the cut, but then again, this is a 7.3 price tag that you're paying for a Doug Gim. What do you expect out of a 7.3 price tag? So for me, I'm liking him. I'm liking Uihlein at 7.3. Like you said, Denny McCarthy's another guy I like. And then kind of going up into this range, I don't mind taking a shot on maybe the whole wild card of Gary Woodland, but that's just a wild card that's very risky, I know. But he can get it hot every now and then. I think he can certainly do it here. But I don't mind Sam Burns either at 7.9. But dropping down to one more play that I like all the way down in the 6K range is a guy like Seifert. I don't mind going to Seifert whatsoever. As I keep scrolling down, you get to literally find him. And then Werwinski. I mean, both these guys, we've seen them both set up well. So I don't mind dropping down to maybe getting one pump play out of these guys. Do you like anybody in the 6K range, or are you just kind of full fading it?
Yeah, the 6K range is tough this week because there's over half the field is about, in the 6K range.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, in my opinion, bad plays. And like we said, they price things really well. There's not a lot of great value plays. But the problem is if you're playing a guy like Justin Thomas or DJ or Patrick Reed and you pair him with someone in the 9 or 8K range, you're going to be fishing down here quite a bit. So it's tough. You're definitely going to have to play some of these guys in here if you want to play some of those top plays. So it's going to be hard for me to completely fade this range. Like you said, I love Chase Seifert. He's going to be in a lot of my lines when I have to use one of these guys. Werwinski as well. I think Tom Lewis will be a decent play. He's actually made the cut in all of the last 5 events that he's played. So, and for a 6K range guy, I think that's exactly what you want. James Hahn at 6.9K, I think is a decent play too. He's got some cut equity. And Tom Hoge, I think as well. I think he might be at 7K on the top there. I think he'll be a solid play. He can get some birdies for you. So again, you're really just fishing in the dark here. It's hard to, pick and choose one of these guys. I'm just going to be looking for a made cut with any of these guys, honestly. And if they get me a top 25, I'm going to be thrilled.
Yeah, I still can't believe the Doc Redman at 6'6". What has he done this season? It's been crazy. And a guy like Patrick Rogers, as you can see, at 6'4", both highly touted names in the field. And I just don't understand how they're priced all the way down here, what's happened to them this season. But anyways, it's crazy.
Look, like half the field, like I said, is in that 6K range. So, a good chunk of these guys will be there, on Saturday and Sunday. But, trying to pick and choose, they're just so inconsistent in this range. It's really hard. So I'm probably going more around the balance build this week, looking in that 9K range, maybe double up on a couple of guys in there and then really hit on the 8K range. And I'm sure I'll have a couple lineups with, JT in there, but I'd rather be focusing more on the balance build. How about you? What do you think on roster construction this weekend?
Well, like you said, literally, if you look at my screen for the viewers, you can see my mouse literally at the halfway point of this field. It's almost literally half. Am I hitting the 7K range? If I keep scrolling up, it's more than half now if we're hitting 7K exactly. So somebody's got to make the cut. Somebody's got to play. But it's, like you said, a guessing game at this rate. You really don't know. That's why I'm going to try to maybe just do one guy maybe in the 7K, 6'9" range. A Werwinski, maybe just keep it low at one person. And then the rest of them, I'm building in that 8K range because that's the 8K range I want a piece of. Easily, that's where I want all my players coming from if I'm not going to get a guy in the 9K range. Because the 9K range, I think, is kind of the least place I want to be. I think I'd rather go up to maybe just Corey Connors than paying up to a Reed and trying to get maybe Justin Thomas. But then again, that's definitely difficult, obviously, because of pricing. But
Yeah.
basically, what I'm going to do is balance bills, like you said. That's the meat and potatoes. What I'm going to do. Do you have any last closing thoughts, man, before we head out of here?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me on. I'll be having my player pool out in my cash core tonight, but otherwise, just be back next week. We'll be running it back with another video.
Always. So I'm pretty excited about this Valspar championship. I'm ready to see who makes the cut down in the 6K range because somebody will, and somebody's going to get that on the whole take down the first place with having like 5 guys in the 6K range, but it is what it is. So, but that pretty much wraps up this video for us guys with the Valspar championship. I cannot wait for next week. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great and safe rest of your day, everybody.